Hi, welcome to today's episode of the Best Dog Podcast. I am Amy,
I'm Rich.
and this is Dexter.
Big Daddy.
That's right. Dexter is the husband to.
Not married yet. Don't force that. Don't force that on him.
He is Ivy's husband. I still call him husband anyway. He is the father of the 11 babies that we had.
Big Daddy.
And he was supposed to be Rich's secondary road dog when I
Yep.
wouldn't allow him to take
He wouldn't let me
Ivy.
take Mama, so we went out to Ohio and
Met with Monica.
Monica. I wanted to say Martha. I knew that wasn't right. My brain got froze. Picked him up from Monica. I actually got I think the second pick of the litter. He was. I got to pick pretty much what I wanted, and he was the only one that had white. And I kind of wanted the dog that had some white in him, and yeah, so he didn't get to go on the road with me though because shortly after we got him, the company I was working for wanted me to go solo, and I didn't want to go solo. We had a big falling out, and so I switched companies. And the next company I went to didn't allow pets, so Big Daddy got stuck at home. And like we told you guys last week, Mama was scheduled to go have her what do you call that?
She was going to get fixed.
Well, yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the actuals. But anyway, so Mama was going to go get fixed, and Daddy had other plans about 4 or 5 days before that was to happen. And I came home and I told Amy, I was mad. I was like, why did you let them get together? You can't let them outside. You got to. Mama was wearing diapers, and I was having a conniption fit, and Daddy wanted to go outside, or Mama wanted to go outside. I let Mama out, and boy, Daddy hit that door like a bullet out of a gun. And yeah, well, Mama got a double dose, and that's why she had 11 babies. So he was the reason for that little escapade that we had. But I'm glad it happened. We did not want to be breeders. We always kind of had a stigma that breeders were bad. But as I've done more research on dogs, and I actually listened to a podcast. God, I want to make sure I get this name right because it's a really good podcast. So if you're a fan of dogs, you're going to want to listen to it. I believe it is called the Good Dog Pod, and it's just listed as a show on Spotify, which we are now listed on Spotify as of the other day. So, yeah, Big Daddy, that's what did you got? You got videos, you got some photos.
Yeah, we have some pictures and videos of Dexy.
So, but Big Daddy is technically what we're calling the dog of the week. And you guys could send us your dog, and your dog could be dog of the week. The way it works is with the software that we have, we send you a link, and you can use your camera, and it works really well. The audio is good, the video is good, and you guys can send us video live of your dog, and we can talk and interview you. But if you would like your dog to be in the running for that, send us some photos, maybe a small video, to thebestdogpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to run about 3 more weeks. We've got 3 more dogs. And then when we run out of dogs, that's when we need your dogs. So you got a couple weeks to send us your submissions. And every week at the beginning of the show, we'll have one of your dogs on as the dog of the week. So Alex has some videos and some photos. We're going to let him roll those for you guys so you can see the who is Big Daddy.
Yes.
What didn't she? All right. So anyway, so that was Big Daddy. As we said, he's a real good dad. What is some other things you had in there? The videos, the pictures, whatever.
The video was of Daddy playing with the puppies. He was a very curious dad. The first time when he heard those puppies squealing, he really didn't have any idea what
No
it was,
idea.
and he stuck his face right in there, and he wasn't about to back off, even
No.
when they were biting at his face and stuff.
He was
and,
super gentle.
Yeah, he was very gentle, and he still is. He's a very gentle boy.
Yeah, but if one of the dogs upstairs give him crap now, he fights back.
Yeah,
You don't.
a little bit.
So, but anyway, so you got some photos of what do you got in there photo wise?
We have 2 pictures. One is him laying on his back. He was probably about a year old, and it actually looks like he's smiling in his sleep. That's one of my favorite pictures of him. And then the others, I think, are all pictures.
Sorry, Daddy.
They are all pictures of him with the puppies. Oh, and we have one picture that is our dogs begging for food, which brings us to our introduction of today's episode.
Well, it was supposed to be a funny episode. I had some memes lined up and some videos lined up, and I was just going to make this kind of a fun satire kind of show. And I saw a letter on Facebook from a friend of mine who had just shared it, and I got tagged in it by a person, and another person had sent it to me. And it was a letter from a veterinarian's place in New Mexico, basically stating that the FDA has said that these brands of dog food are not good. They're causing, I got to remember the name of this technical term. You're the medical person.
Dilated myo.
That's it. Canine dilated cardiomyopathy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there was a big list of all these dog food brands that weren't accurate. And one thing that I can't stand is when people on Facebook are always sharing bad information and they don't bother to check their sources or anything like that. So I called the veterinarian on that paper and I just wanted to let them know. I said, hey, my name is Rich. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. Here's what's happened. I saw this thing. Is it true? The lady said, yeah. She goes, but that was true 3 years ago. She goes, somebody went on our website, must have taken that and shared it. And it seems to just now be going viral because they're getting calls about it. And she said that the fact that it was all true, and she said they took all that information off of the FDA's website. She goes, you can find all that stuff there. So I said, okay, well, I wanted to make sure I had the right information, so I went to the FDA's website. On the FDA's website, it had a report basically, and it said that in 2019, this is what they were doing, these were what they were checking for. And I think you guys might even remember right about the time everybody was doing grain-free foods, dogs started getting heart issues. This was kind of what was happening. It was this situation. So there was, and I'm going to run through these companies. I'm not saying these companies are bad or evil or they did anything wrong. I kind of think that maybe what it was everybody wanted a grain-free food. Everybody wanted to make their dogs healthier. So these companies jumped on and tried to make a grain-free food. And we'll explain in just a minute why it may not exactly be their fault. Arcana, or Acana, A-C-A-N-A, they had the most cases of canine dilated cardiomyopathy that they think was linked to their food. Now, this again, we are not experts. We are not veterinarians. We do some simple research. I am going to put these links in the description in the YouTube below, so make sure you click that subscribe. Make sure you click that bell to get notified when we go live, and then you can click on those links and you can see all this research for yourself. But ACANA had 67 cases of this DCM. Signature with a Z had 64. Taste of the Wild 53. 4 Health, that's the number 4, and then the word health, 32. Earthborn Holistic, 32. Now this one shocked me. Blue Buffalo.
Wow, that really surprises me because it's a very common, like everybody started using that one.
And everybody says it's one of the best. They had 31 cases.
Wow.
Now, the FDA did say they only reported any companies that had 10 cases or more. So if they went less than 10, they didn't show up in the list. From, F-R-O-M-M, Merrick, California Natural had 16 cases or 15 cases. Natural Balance, Orion, which is O-R-I-J-E-N, they had 12. Nature's Variety, Nutrisource, Nutro, and Rachel Ray Nutrish all had 10. So what I'm thinking they did was these companies started trying to figure out how they could make a grain-free food. So they used legumes, pulses, or seeds of the legumes, and potatoes as their main ingredients.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I found out when I started doing a little digging was that potatoes can actually be the problem. I'm going to explain a little bit about that. So, apparently, with the sweet potato, which is the potato that they use the most in these foods, there is a fungicidal bacteria that grows on the skin of the potato. Well, think about it. When a farmer, you see a truck of corn going down the road, it's just a bunch of corn in the back of a truck, right?
Yeah.
Well, where does it go? Goes to the grain elevator. They dump it in
Okay.
the elevator, it dries out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's washed it. Nobody's done anything with it. It just sits there and dries out.
Okay.
Now they take it from the grain elevator and they take it to, I don't know, Green Giant. And they go put it in a can of corn. What do they do with that truck? That truck backs up to a dock. Sometimes it just opens up the bed and they dump it into a feeder and it goes down to maybe a washing bin, or maybe it goes to uh, some other conveyor belt or something like that. And if it's not properly washed or taken care of, that bacteria could have gotten into the food and made the dog sick.
Okay.
Maybe it's not the potato. Maybe it was the way that they washed the potato or didn't wash it well enough or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Again, I'm not saying these companies made mistakes. This is my speculation based on the research that I've just looked at today. The other thing that it said was that the stem, most potatoes grow underground, but there's still that vine. There's still that piece that was attached
Right.
to the plant.
Yeah.
Well, that little piece of stem is actually very poisonous for a dog from
Wow.
a sweet potato. Well, think about it. How many times have you cooked dinner, had a can of green beans, and found a stem in your green
Yeah.
beans? What do
On
you
my
do?
green bean attached.
Attached, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even still attached.
Mm-hmm.
They don't got little grandmas sitting down there picking, shucking green beans and peeling corn and, or shucking corn or all peeling potatoes and stuff. So little things like that could slip in. Well, if that slips into our corn, well, we're smart enough to know to pick it
Yeah.
off, throw it away.
Right.
That company don't know. That dog food
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's all ground up into a mush and made into kibble.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it's not, maybe they didn't heat it up enough to kill. I don't know. I don't know how dog food's made. I'm just saying, based on what I read today, the sweet potato could be part of the problem. Now, the other thing about that though is the sweet potato is really good for a dog when it's made the right way.
Okay.
It's got lots of vitamins and minerals in it. They're really good for a dog, but they also say it's only really good in moderation
Mm-hmm.
because what it is a sweet potato.
Yeah, and everybody went to making treats out of sweet potatoes. In fact, a lot of people are doing homemade recipes out of sweet
Yep.
potatoes because that was like the next best thing for us to do.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I've got a link that's going to be in the description for how you can make sweet potato treats. It was in the
So
the
we just
research
have
that
to
I
make
did.
sure that we don't put the peel in there.
Well, it says you can use the peel. The peel isn't the problem. It's the bacteria that grows on the peel, the vine that's attached to the peel, things like that. If it was me, yeah, I'd probably peel it just
Yeah,
to be on the safe
yeah.
side. Maybe it's just a matter of washing. Maybe it was who knows what the actual issue was. Maybe it's just the fact that the sweet potato is so full of sugar
Mm-hmm.
that was causing diabetes in some dogs, which was causing the heart problem. They don't know. Again, this information
Yeah.
was accurate as of 2019, like September or whatever it was, and then we went into a pandemic. So maybe the research
That's
has
true,
come to a
yeah.
halt. Maybe there's more to come, but it did
Mhm.
say on the website this information is accurate as of this date. If they would have had an update, they would have updated the website. So again, that link will be in the description. You can click on that. There were 30 different parts to this investigation.
Oh my goodness.
I picked the one that talked about the food directly just because it fit what we were talking
Mhm.
about today. So again, this is not the whole story. Make sure you click on the description and do some
Mhm.
research. Don't just believe what everybody throws up on Facebook, because as we found with this letter, that was 3 years ago. It isn't even current information. So, which got me to wondering though, okay, so if they can't have potatoes, everybody kind of knows they can't have chocolate. What can't a dog have? So I've got a list for you. One of and this one shocked. There's some things that shocked me because, and I didn't get into it at the beginning of the show, but I have given my dog one of these things that you are not supposed to give your dog, and I'm gonna bet 99% of you have done the same thing because I've seen the videos on TikTok. I've seen the videos on YouTube.
What?
I've seen my friends do it. I've done it myself. And we're going to talk about some of those here in just a minute. But one of those, I got a guy that kind of berated me a little bit on Facebook. I think Jerica Pliga had made a comment, and I jumped on there and I made a comment. And the guy was like, "Oh, you got to feed your dog all raw. You feed it all natural." And I said, "Hey, we thought about doing that with Boo Boo."
Yeah,
And the vet said, "Don't do it." We're like, "Well, why?" They're like, "Well, because you're not putting in the right
I wasn't giving him enough nutrients.
not the
Mhm.
right vegetables, not the
Yeah.
right this, not the right that." Well, okay, so if the veterinarians are telling us don't do it because we're not experts in the field, well, who's this guy to tell me, well, if you love your dog, you'll feed it raw? Dude, don't tell me how much I love my dog.
Yeah.
I don't feed my dog raw because I don't want to hurt my dog because I'm
Mhm.
not a dietitian. I'm not a veterinarian.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. So, but it says raw meat is something you shouldn't feed your dog. Now, it says that they can contain E. coli and salmonella and other harmful bacteria. But it says you shouldn't handle the raw meat and then give your dog a treat or give your dog something else. Maybe it's just a transference
Mhm.
of bacteria. Because when you cook the raw meat, you don't have all that. And if you wash your hands or if you wash the meat, some people don't, some do. That's a whole other
Yeah.
podcast. But that could be why. It doesn't say they can't have raw meat. I'm not saying they can't have raw meat. I'm saying it has to be handled properly. I'm not an expert. I'm going to bet that most people watching this show are not experts either, so they may not do it properly as well. So make sure you contact your veterinarian. Or I'm betting by now that people love their dogs so much that there are dog dietitians, canine dietitians. I don't even know what you would call it. So, but
That's something I should have looked up when we had
yeah,
Huey, because I did try that.
you
You know,
did.
I was cooking chicken and beef,
Green beans
but I cooked everything, and I did add some
yep.
vegetables in. But the vet told me I still wasn't getting enough
But
nutrients
that's
for
not
him
a
to do
raw
it at
feed
home.
because you cooked
Right?
it.
Yeah.
So you cook some of the nutrients out of what you so.
That's true.
But anyway, so
Yeah.
what else we got on that list there?
So grapes and raisins, which most people know not to give them that, and currants.
What is a currant?
I didn't know what a currant was, so I looked that up as well. And it's a raisin that is made from a seedless grape.
Okay.
So apparently you can't give them any
so it's
kind
not
of
the
grapes.
seed then that's the problem. It's the
Right.
grape itself.
Yeah. So no grapes whatsoever, no raisins, no currants.
Oh.
Yeah.
He just lost half his cookie. Yeah, you fell on the floor, big boy.
So he'll try to find it.
So another thing that you're not supposed to feed your dog is fried fatty foods. Now, I know that I've had pizza or chicken or something like that, and I have given the dog a piece of the skin or a piece of the crust or something like that. And if the crust is one of those really oily, greasy pizzas, that's not good for them. The carbohydrates technically aren't good for them. Well, they're not good for us either, but, that's beside the point. So, but yeah, fried fatty foods are not good for the dog. It can irritate their stomach. It can cause potentially life-threatening disease called pancreatitis, which we get pancreatitis. So,
Yeah.
it's not good to give your dogs that. So, stay away from the fried fatty foods. Again, maybe the meat's okay, but maybe not the chicken skin because that's the fatty part.
Yeah.
Again, consult your veterinarian and find out what they think. What else do we got?
So this next one on the list has me a little baffled.
Okay.
Moldy foods.
Who would give their dog? I wouldn't eat moldy food. Why
Right.
would I give it to my dog?
Yeah, if you wouldn't eat it, don't give it to
Whose
them
dog
either.
doesn't eat better than they do? I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes.
You're right. You're
And
right.
for Daddy's birthday, we
Yeah.
get him a steak. I mean, it's just it's the way it works. So what's actually wrong with fatty foods? The
Moldy foods?
moldy foods.
Moldy foods can cause life-threatening diseases like pancreatitis. Oh, I'm
Really?
sorry. No,
Oh, I was gonna say
that's
that-
on the wrong part. Your dog shouldn't eat them. Shouldn't eat moldy foods if you wouldn't eat them. If you put moldy cheese, rinds, or hamburger buns into the trash, make sure that your dog doesn't get them out of the garbage.
Oh,
By
so
the
it's not
same
people
token,
feeding the moldy food.
right?
Ah.
It's them getting them out of the trash
Gotcha.
apparently. But it says by the same token, if you have a compost heap and it's the first place that your dog makes a beeline for, you want to be sure that there's no moldy scraps that are in there.
Make sure it's inside of a fence.
Yeah,
or
make
something.
sure that they're well out of reach of the dog.
All right. Well, now we also are not supposed to give our dogs onions, garlics, or chives. I'm going to guess that that's kind of along the line of the bean. It's a bulb vegetable, but I don't know if that still. I guess more of a seed, not a bean. Well, bean, seed. I don't know. We're seeing a theme of seeds for some reason.
Yeah.
So, what else? What else do we not supposed to give our dog?
Salty snacks. I think that I mean, mainly, of course, during the summertime, you don't want to give them salty snacks. But I wouldn't really give. I mean, you might give them an occasional potato chip or something.
Yeah, I've done that. But
Yeah, but it says not to give them salty treats. And also, one thing that you want to watch for is the bag that the salty treats come in, like a bag of potato chips or whatever it is that you're eating, or even if your kids are eating them and leave them on the coffee table or don't put the bag away, or if you've got a garbage picker, like we had one dog that was a garbage picker.
Yeah, none of ours do that right now.
Right. But those bags, apparently the fabric or the material that they're made of is so thin that the dogs can suffocate when they stick their head inside the bag because they're smelling that greasy, salty stuff in the bag, and they suffocate from the bag.
Okay. Another thing that I found, and again, there's a theme with the nut thing. If you're making cookies, do not let your dog eat the macadamia nuts.
Oh.
It doesn't say anything about peanuts or almonds or anything else. It specifically says macadamia nuts.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
I wonder why. I
It
wonder
did not go
what
into
difference that
It
is.
didn't go in. It just said that macadamia nuts were not good for your dog.
That is interesting.
And then artificial sweeteners like xylitol. Is that how you say that? Xylitol. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, wasn't that the stuff that was in the peanut butter not long ago?
I think so, and it's also in gum. It's an artificial sweetener.
Yeah.
So it's in a lot of sugar. The things that they say are sugar free, the gum and candies and stuff like that have it in there.
So now I got just a couple more. These were ones that after I left the FDA website, I was like, okay, well, is this the only thing the FDA says? Are any other things safe? Because there's other things that I've given. Like I noticed that list did not mention chocolate, and I thought that's odd because I thought you can't give a dog chocolate. So I found another list. I cannot remember the name of the website it's on, but again, the link will be in the description. And the very first thing that it listed was chocolate.
Yeah.
They said don't give your dog chocolate, especially dark chocolate. That it messes up their heart and their kidneys can't process it properly. So avoid giving your dog chocolate. But we all knew that one.
Yeah, I've always wondered though if that was like all forms of chocolate, because years ago I had a dog that now you have to, if you know me, you know Oreos is that's my thing. And years ago we had a cabinet under the sink cabinet. That's where all of our snacks were. And I had a bag of Oreos, and it was the kind, once they came out where you peel that sticky part of it back to get to the Oreos. And I hadn't opened them yet. They were under the sink, and we left the house and came back, and the dog had every snack out of the cabinet, everything out from underneath the sink. And the only thing that the dog opened up was my stinking Oreos. he opened it perfectly. He had that peeled thing back and ate every Oreo. Yes. And I came home and I was crying. It was my Oreos. But I couldn't believe, I was concerned because I thought, is that considered chocolate? An Oreo cookie? So, nothing.
I don't
know. The dog never got sick, luckily. He may have outside and I didn't know, but nothing ever happened to him. But yeah, I was always concerned about that.
Okay. Well, also on this list of dangerous foods was onions and garlic, but that one was on the FDA one, so that wasn't a big deal. But one that made me think, well, I guess I've heard that the pit is not good for a human, but I would have thought maybe the fruit was okay for a dog to have, or I guess, is it a vegetable? I don't know what you call it, but the avocado. It's the fruit and I guess because it's close to the seed, it contaminates the fruit. I don't know, but it says that your dog can become nauseous, can develop vomiting, diarrhea, and a heart condition.
Wow.
The seed can become lodged in the intestines or the stomach if swallowed. And it said what's most dangerous about them is there's a fungicidal toxin called persin that's found in the bark, the leaves, and the seed of the avocado.
Oh my goodness.
So I probably wouldn't even feed the dog the fruit just because that's just too much. That's too close. So another thing that they're not supposed to give them is a caffeinated beverage. Now, I don't know who's giving their dog. Hey, Dexy, you want a Mountain Dew? I don't know. I don't know who would be doing that. Maybe somebody's giving their dog coffee, but it comes from a bean, and beans and seeds are bad for your dog.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something with that.
Wow. So again, they list grapes and raisins on this list as well. But another one, also with the seeds, is peaches and plums.
Anything with a pit or a seed, or if it's supposed to have a seed, like the seedless grape,
Yeah.
it's still bad. So if it's supposed to have a seed or has a seed or a pit, probably just stay away from it.
So when we just finished eating our dinner, and Rich made cinnamon baked apples,
Yep.
and it made me wonder, can they? I always give my dogs apples. I slice them up when they're getting ready to go to bed. I slice them up and I pass them out to the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally I'll hold the apple, which I think they all think it's fun, but
Yeah.
I hold the apple and let them all take bites out of it. But I've never paid attention to whether or not they're getting the seed when they bite it. I mean, I don't know that they're not.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious as to whether or not they can have the seeds from the apple, or
Because
if
I've
that
heard
is
apples are
harmful as
okay.
well.
Apples are good for a dog, but
Yeah.
are they? I mean,
Hmm.
everybody thought grain-free diet was good for your dog for a while, but
Right.
then all this started happening. So maybe
Mhm.
maybe it's a moderation issue. Maybe it's a how it was cleaned issue. Maybe it's how it was made issue. That we don't know the answer to yet.
Yeah.
Science will catch up to that. Maybe
Mhm.
like I said, because of COVID, this thing got put on the back burner. But if we find any more information, we'll definitely let people know.
Mhm.
But the last thing on this list is the one that I am the most guilty of, and you are too, because of boo boo.
Let me guess. Cheese?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Actually,
Everybody gives
all
their dogs
dairy,
cheese.
all dairy. Well, these people that drive around going to Starbucks and getting the puppuccinos, and you go to Dairy Queen, you get they actually have a dog cup
Yeah.
for dogs.
Right.
Dogs are
Hmm.
not supposed to have dairy because they cannot process the enzymes like lactase that disintegrate lactose. So the dairy products will cause itching, digestive problems, can activate allergies in your pet. I mean, we give them cheese all the time. I let them lick the vanilla ice cream out of. If I don't put chocolate in there, I let them lick the vanilla out of the bowl or the cup or whatever. I mean, whipped cream. I never would have thought dairy was bad for your dog.
And now that's really making me think, as many issues.
Mhm.
Our dogs are always scratching. They always have ear infections, and I have changed their food. I thought they were allergic to the food that we were
Yep.
using. So now that makes me wonder if it's because I'm always giving everybody cheese. We had
He snored.
he snored. When we first got Huey Boo Boo, our pug, he was
Which his picture is what you see on our YouTube. He's
yes.
the picture on
Mhm.
our logo.
When we first got him, I went to the refrigerator. I was making something, and I pulled out a slice of cheese. And as I opened the cellophane package of the cheese,
Mhm.
he came from upstairs, and I was like, "Babe, he just came out of nowhere when I opened this cheese." And when I said the word cheese, it seriously looked like he smiled at me, and we were laughing about it. And I said, "No, no, no." I had to imagine that. So I waited a few minutes until he had normal straight face again, and I said, "Cheese," and he smiled again. So we've always laughed about it. And whenever I'm cooking something, I'll just say, "Hey, you want cheese?" And he'll do it.
Yep.
And so I always give them cheese. I had no idea it was bad
I've
for
given
them.
him cheese.
Now I feel terrible.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why they had the itching and the allergies.
Yeah.
We don't know, but we'll
That's
not give
possible.
them cheese anymore. So
Yeah.
that'll do that. So before we go any further, I need to show everybody a video because this video was the reason that this was supposed to be a funny meme, funny video type podcast for the week. And as soon as I saw the video, I thought that would be my wife. If she saw this happen, she would do this. So the question I had to ask for you, and I titled this segment, "Would you fight for your dog?" And I know you would.
Of course I
But
would.
Would you fight Mike Tyson for your dog?
With some protective earwear, yes.
No. That's not what you got to worry about in this clip. I'm not saying Mike Tyson's in the clip. I was just saying you wouldn't fight Mike Tyson. He'd kill you in 3, 2, not even 1 second. You'd be
Okay,
gone.
so you're basically asking me
How
if I
tough
would
would you
I
be?
die for my dogs?
Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of the question.
I love them a lot. I really do.
All right, well, let's show this clip and see if you would do this.
Okay.
Okay, so that black dog ran out there, jumped up the fence. The bear on the third swipe caught his nose, and if you
Oh.
listen carefully, you can hear the dog run off. And this lady comes barreling out of the house. Little, I mean, can't be much taller than you because you're not even 5 foot, and pushes this bear off the frickin' wall and starts scooping up all these dogs and running for the house. And I saw that and I was like, my wife would fight a bear. You might not fight Mike Tyson, but you would fight a bear.
I've always wondered what I would do because we live out in the country. I've always wondered what I would do if a coyote came in my yard. And I would probably scoop up all my dogs and put them in the house and try to shoosh it away or something. And I would probably get seriously hurt.
Probably, yeah, you probably. But she didn't. That bear ran away. That bear had enough of the old lady in the house. She was like, that's it. I'm out of here.
I just need to put on my big mama drawers and go out there and kick some butt.
I know you would have a bat sitting next to the door from that point forward, and you'd go hunting bear anytime that one came. So I thought that was funny. I hope you guys got a kick out of that. So we have one more thing for you before we leave this week.
2 things.
Oh, we do?
Yes. I'm sorry. I want to interrupt real quick.
Okay.
Because we talked about the dilated cardiomyopathy from the dog foods and stuff, I do want to give you some information as signs to watch for. Of course, if your dog has any of these symptoms, you want to contact your vet. One of them, well, first of all, let me say that the cardiomyopathy, this type of cardiomyopathy, there are 2 different types, but the dilated cardiomyopathy, which is basically the thinning of the heart muscles, so it isn't able to pump blood the way it should. So this tends to happen in large breed dogs more than the smaller breed dogs, large and giant from what they say on the website that I found it on. But and also middle-aged and older dogs as well. So the things to watch for are exercise intolerance and a general slowing down, which we have nothing to worry about there. Our dogs, well, I mean, they're slow, but that's just because they're too chunky. Their feet are cool to the touch. I have never heard of that, but
I don't know how you know that because our dogs won't let us touch their feet because they're afraid they're going to get their nails clipped.
Also, coughing, a pot-bellied appearance, decreased appetite. That
I think I have canine myopathy or whatever you call that.
Labored breathing. But if you
That's me.
If you notice your dog experiencing rapid or heavy breathing, a blue tongue, or if they collapse, get to an emergency veterinarian as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think if they collapse, that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
something's wrong.
Okay. So our next segment is our favorite dog toy.
Yep. Which, by the way, before you do this, I want to let you know, I'm not sure if you saw the email. I talked to Mr. Chang, or I think maybe it's not Chang. Goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank.
The guy
now.
from
the gentleman
toy
from
the
pet
shampoo,
the Relic Pet, the
yes.
RELIQPET.com.
Yes.
The guy that we had the shampoo for, which, by the way, go back and watch the first episode for your chance to win some free shampoo that we bought. Again, these guys are not sponsors. We just happen to find the product. We like it. We want to let you know about it. This gorilla is one of those things. We've had this gorilla for 5 years. We love it. We have a hard time finding good toys. We want you to know about it. But anyway, he sent us an email and said that he heard you talk about having the problems with the ears.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to send us some ear wash so that you can try it.
Yay.
And see how it works. So we'll have to pick one of our dogs, the one that's got the worst ears, and just see, okay, how does it, if we use the wash, is it better? Because since we've used the shampoo, Tudors has not. And well, Daddy does it too, but Daddy hasn't been bathed with that shampoo yet. But she has not gone out and gotten dirty. And I think because with the other shampoos, it dries their skin. And she goes out in the yard and tries to cover herself in dirt to get the itchy off.
I think she might be rolling, trying to scratch her back.
The stuff. Yep. Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing. she has not gone out and gotten dirty yet, and it's been over a week.
Yeah.
So
And that's amazing because they, like, 12 hours after they get a bath, I keep
Yep.
them in the house until they're dry. But immediately after she's dry, within 12 hours later, they're back in the house and they are gray. I mean,
Yep.
seriously gray. You could pat on them and a
poof.
dust cloud
They
comes
look like
up.
that character from the Peanuts with a dirty blanket or a pig
Pig
pen.
pen.
Yeah, they look like that when you touch them.
Yes.
They're
so
gross.
it's truly amazing that she hasn't been out there rolling, scratching her back like that. And I'm actually excited to watch Dexy in it
Yep.
and see if he is the same way. But Ernie, he just started scratching just a little bit today,
Yep.
and it's been a week.
And he's normally scratching 12 hours later.
Yes. He's always scratching.
So, but we'll have to go out to Bailey's and pick up some more of that
Yeah,
shampoo
yeah.
because that was fantastic.
Well, I'm excited to try the ear wash because I feel horrible with him always having ear infections, and
It could be because we're feeding him cheese. I don't know, but
Yeah.
we'll find out.
yeah, so hopefully that'll get it taken care of. That'd be great.
So, but yeah, so we'll let you guys know how the ear wash works out and how these things work. If you guys want to check it out, I believe on Facebook, if you go to their page and you like their page, there's a coupon code and you guys save 10% on anything on their website. So it's RELIQPET.com.
That's amazing.
But anyway, so the Blue
Fantastic.
Gorilla, how does this work?
Okay.
Why does Mama like it so much?
Yes, we bought this for Mama because Mama is a chewer and a half. She feels it's her job to destroy whatever toy she's got before any of the other dogs can get
We
to
used
it.
to go to Goodwill and buy like 10 stuffed animals for a
did.
quarter a piece.
Mhm.
She'd literally have all 10 of them tore up in 20 minutes.
It snowed in our living room every time I went to the Goodwill
quit
and bought
doing
them
it.
stuffed animals. And the worst part was I had to pop out eyeballs or make sure I found them with no eyeballs. And
Yep.
that was hard enough as it was. So I started looking for indestructible toys, which if you go online and look for an indestructible toy, there's a lot of them. But are they truly indestructible for the big chewer dogs that we have?
And how many have we tried and how many didn't hold up to that?
I think I've tried probably 6 or 8, and so far this is the only one that my dogs are actually interested in as
Yep.
well. Okay,
We have the tire, but they don't.
right.
Eh.
The tire they don't want unless I roll it.
Yep.
It has to be a game with
Mama
that
will
one.
dig that out of the box.
Yes, the Blue Gorilla, they will find it and chew on it. It still has a bit of a like a attracting smell to it.
Okay.
This is what it looks like after 5 years. The only thing that's missing is the top of his head, and he's got his arms chewed up a little bit there. But if you see, it has the tire tracks on it. It is actually called a Super Treads, and it is made by Arm & Hammer. Sorry, I'm covering his face. But that little bit of his face is all that's gone after 5 years. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and she didn't do that in one bite. That
Right.
was little bitty
Yeah.
bits.
And actually, it's not even like something that she chews on and leaves a mess everywhere because she doesn't
No.
even get that much of it off.
No.
But these little treads on there, it has the Arm & Hammer baking soda in there. So while they're chewing on it, it's cleaning their teeth and helping get rid of the tartar on their teeth or plaque or whatever buildup they've got on their teeth. And it helps with their breath as well. And we, at one point, we had some Kongs, and we put treats in all the Kongs, but we only had 4 of them, which Kongs my dogs have chewed through. So, yeah, it has that smell.
Smells good, though.
Yeah. So, and they can smell those. I have a box of them. I have 4 more of them, and they can smell them inside the box in my file cabinet.
He's so sleepy. he
And
don't
they
even
know that they're in there. But, so we had the Kongs, and we put treats inside the Kongs, and there's a little hole in the bottom there that we stuck some dog cookies in. And unfortunately,
They couldn't get
that's
out.
not what it's for, so they weren't able to get them out of there. But we did it just to entertain everybody for a while. But this is absolutely their favorite toy. All of them like it, and yeah, I mean it has a nice bounce to it, even though
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty sturdy and heavy. So we don't throw it, but when the dogs play with it, one will drop it and it'll bounce, and then all 5 of them, well, all 4 of them. Huey's old and
Huey
doesn't
don't.
play with them anymore, but all 4 dogs enjoy playing with it at the same time, even.
So we actually have 4 of these. We have 4 extra ones. So what we're going to do is on the 4th of July, we're going to give away 4 of the Blue Gorillas. All you have to do is be subscribed to the YouTube channel and comment in this video. It could be anything. It could be hello. It could be you suck. It could be whatever. I don't care. It doesn't even have to be a positive comment. I mean, we would appreciate a positive comment, but hey, rules are rules. So all you got to do is comment on the video and make sure you're subscribed. And we are going to pick 4 random people to win a blue gorilla for their dog. So that's all I got for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So again, click the subscribe button. Share this with your friends. If you've got friends that are really into dogs or have dogs or love dogs, send them our way. We would love to know what you guys think. Do you guys have any ideas on things that we should look up, research that we should do, topics that we should cover? Would you like us to have a trainer come on and teach you how to train your dogs? Would you like us to have veterinarians come on and teach you about flea medicine or heartworm prevention? Or what would you like to know about your dog? I mean, yeah, everybody can Google things, but wouldn't it be great to get it from a professional's point of view?
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to hear? Let us know. But this is the Best Dog Podcast. I'm Rich.
I'm Amy.
We'll see you next time.